Hello and welcome to the third episode of Hyperefficient Startup. Today is an emotional roller coaster for me. Let me go through the stuff that I was doing today. So um, we are focusing on sales, as you know, and to do that we need to have like really nice messaging so that people actually interact with us and let us help them make better hiring decisions, right? And organize their hiring campaigns is in this like novel way that utilizes our design philosophy. So and we have this like LinkedIn work on the tagline, the new tagline for us. I don't remember what our old tagline was, hiring streamline or whatever. Yeah, hire better here it says in blog, tech hiring streamline. Interesting, we have different titles, which is slightly problematic. But tech hiring streamlined is a nice idea of what we're doing. But we figured we want to be a bit more punchy. So Paula came up with Find Your Genius. And because we're opening out our offering and we are offering sourcing as well now for certain customers, I think it's fair to say, okay, find your genius. You give us money, we give you genius, right? And then I was like thinking about stuff, and I was like, wait, so it's like finding someone with our tool, right? It's like ranking. So I figured it's kind of like a Monty Hall where you have like a lot of doors behind which there can be the correct person, and of course it doesn't really translate one to one. Aside from the fact that we know behind which door, who is behind which door, right? Because we are ranking, we're running evaluations, and it's in general it's very kind of it's very similar to this idea, right? So you have doors, right, and then you can reveal the goat, and I was like, find your goat, and I came up with this. People hated it, and sadly I asked Gins Draymond, who's like a fucking genius, I'm telling you, like, is this shit? And he's like, yeah, this is shit. But yeah, so I was thinking about this sort of stuff. I think it's funny as a meme maybe, but I got like kind of inspired and motivated to dig a bit more into messaging, and yeah, I threw some takes about like niche stuff, and about how when you hit the niche, right, when you understand that you and the service provider, or you and your customer, they speak the same language, it's first of all easier to make buying decision. For me it was like because I have this really rigid understanding of like ethics and shit. So when I find people who are really not like greenwashing or whatever, but whose ethics really match mine, it's very easy, I know, for me to make a to make a buying decision, right? But yeah, as I point out here, it's important to have this sort of like niche hook, but it's also very important for the phrase that you use, to wave the flag, hey, like, we're the same kind of weird, right? So for the phrase that you use to also be understandable by common population as a phrase, right? Because it's, for example, in this example that I make here, market fit is like porn, you know it when you see it. There's no there will be no objection from like a person who doesn't know the reference, which by the way is to the Supreme Court discussion about whether or not something is hardcore porn, and then about the nature of obscenity, and then this happened, right? A legendary phrase, but not many people know about it actually. So yeah, there is no objection from the person who doesn't know about this phrase that it is like this, right? It is true. You know porn when you see it, yeah. And yeah, the other thing in terms of this stuff I did was yeah, because we're still kind of nailing down our ICPs. You know, we have this feedback from people that from people who are in marketing that our messaging sucks, and we actually managed to we were sending emails offering people like money to provide their feedback about our product, and we only got 2 answers. We got 2 meetings out of 2 answers, right? And I don't think we actually had to pay anyone. But we only got 2, which means that our messaging was like horrible. Like, what the fuck? Can you imagine? Someone's offering you money, like free money for 15 minutes of your work, where you get to criticize and enjoy how smart you are, right? And you don't even take this money. Like, it's weird. Like, if our messaging yielded only 2 results in 90 attempts to give someone our money, it means that something has to be done with the messaging. So I kind of played like the toe and heel breaking, whatever. I don't know. I was doing the rally thing when you're breaking and gassing at the same time. And I worked with Nick to kind of merge the 2 ideas, that the one that I had and his text, into an email which actually does this like soft sell, whatever, as we call it in Zero HR. And I managed to reduce it to just 3 sentences, which is a banger. I think that it's great. And also with niche stuff and maybe thinking about Goku, I tried to find something that conveys some reference that conveys the feeling of safety. And I remember this MTV ad from the 90s, which is like, sex is not accident. So basically, I mean, if this is if we're sending it to an MTV person, it's going to be, maybe it'll get a chuckle, or maybe they will be like, did they mean it, right? But if you send it to like a normal person who doesn't know anything about this sort of stuff, for them it's going to make sense. A good hire is no accident. Cool. But also I've done shit ton of technical stuff, and the thing I want to present today, that I think will be very, very beneficial to the viewers and to the listeners, is the way that we handle JavaScript blobs in React. So sometimes you're transitioning a part of your website or your entire website to React.js, which is something that is happening right now for us, because we need to have these interactive components, and we want to have them as components, like decoupled sort of stuff. And yeah, you need to for example, take some legacy animation, like for instance this falling objects, right? And this is not React. Oh my god, so many objects fall into purple. We need to do something about it someday. But anyway, so this is not React. This is ESP2. Great library, but yesterday I started, okay, maybe I just port this to React, and I started porting it, and then at some point I realized that just the rendering loop of this animation is just contradictory with the way that React handles its rendering loop. So I was like, okay, I'm just reinventing Pomeranda's here, and their work on reactifying a lot of this animation. Libraries like React Spring, for example, which is great. And I was like, you know what? I'll find a way to to integrate it with React. And what I found is this. So the idea is that we have an external. Like, this is literally for our use case, right? So we have some external system. And we can do something with remote. Or you can like do something even simpler without like dependencies that will just fire once on mount and will fire this on unmount, right? So you create React component, and then this React component is a box which is impure, which has side effects, as explained by useEffect hook. And then basically here you just return React component. And the funny thing is that this useEffect, in theory, can, as this beautiful example shows, in theory, this useEffect can interact also with React component, which is beautiful. So this way, this is like an escape hatch to the real world, kind of like IO monad. I don't know. It's beautiful. It's very a great design. I love React. Honestly, this is amazing. So what we have done, and I just made the fresh pull because I was working outside from my laptop. So what we have here is me forgetting to add falling.js. No, it's here. So yeah, so what we have here is we have a component called falling.tsx. You have just seen on the screen a blob of JavaScript. I'm sorry, it's not a blob really. It's handwritten, but it is very difficult to port. There's a lot of state. There's a lot of weird stuff. I mean, you may have seen the initialization procedures, like 5 function. It's very readable, but it really doesn't play well with React event loop, with React, event loop, you can say, yeah. So what I figured out is that I can just insert this falling.js script element just the same way that I had it in index.html one commit before, and then return the section just the same way as if I'm writing HTML here. And I didn't try running this on this machine, but I hope that I'll be able to showcase that it works exactly as a statically generated website. Literally, there is no difference whatsoever. He said. Well, that's embarrassing because it literally worked. Falling.js. Maybe it somehow didn't. Maybe it didn't notice the file. Oh, here we go. Holy smokes. Okay. Beautiful. I don't know what's going on. Why didn't it work on the first attempt? But as you see, this all is React. So all of this stuff, is React. As you can see, here's ID root, and everything under ID root is where we mount React component. I wonder what's its problem here. Okay. So this is the problem. For some reason, when we're running it not in dev mode, it doesn't understand that it's allowed to download this thing. Yeah. Oh yeah, makes sense because Vite will bundle everything into one. So this is something to figure out, I guess, later today. Is how do I tell Vite that, hey, like there's an artifact that we should verbatim transport into assets. I'll actually even mention it straight away here. As usual, if someone knows how to do this, hit me up. And yeah, today's video was really short, and I hope that you will enjoy watching it nonetheless. It was a little bit wonky in the end, but hey, I'm improvising, and I'm just sharing the experience of building a startup, which where things don't necessarily work from the first attempt. So. Well, demo gods were kind of with me, and you can see the beautiful animation both here and over here. Thank you so much, and see you next time.